Alright, so next we're going to remove two of the trees in King Triton's garden here. We're going to remove this tall tree and these two smaller trees in the back to make room for the house of the future. Yeah, you have to remember that the Triton's garden piece was not originally designed for the house of the future, so we have to do a little tree removal here to make room for it. Now I'll demonstrate pulling this tree out first, here comes that demonstration. The nice thing about these trees is they normally come out pretty easy. Now this is my own piece here, so I'm going to be pretty careful with it. I don't want to hurt it. And if you just wiggle them around a little bit, they'll start to loosen up. All right, and then you twist them. Ah, there we go. This one's loose, kind of like wiggling out a tooth. And you just pull up on it, and out it comes. And you can see that it's just the trees are just a piece of wire with a bit of plastic and epoxy wrapped around them, and they pop right out, and they can be put back in just as easily. The nice thing about this is, if you want to put this thing back together again when you're done, you can, and it won't look like anything happened. So pull the tree out, to the side. Alright, now with the first tree removed, we'll move on to removing these two trees in the back. Now the process is the same for removing these as it was for the first tree, but since you have two tree trunks together, the movement is a little bit stiffer. So, but it's the same basic idea, move them back and forth, move them around a little bit, and as soon as you can, start to twist them, and you'll feel them pop loose here. It's a little hard to demonstrate in the video, but you'll get the hang of it. You saw how the first tree went. So, around, and then twist them, pop, there they go, and then wiggle them out. And there they come. There's the two trunks. And so now we have room on the Triton's garden for the house of the future. Last, but certainly not least, is one remaining tree we have to remove. And this one is in the back of the house of the future piece. It's this tree right here. And it removes like all the others. Just twist the thing around, twist, and it will come out. There it is. And like all the other trees, it has this pin. Now, sometimes when you remove the trees, the little metal pin in these pieces may stay stuck in the piece, and you may end up looking something more like this when you pull yours apart. Right, so you may see the actual steel pin sticking out where the tree came out. But sometimes the pin slides out of the tree and stays in the piece rather than staying in the tree like these guys did. If that happens, it's just fine. Just grab it with pliers or something and pop it out, and then put it back in the tree. The other thing which can happen sometimes with these pieces with the trees is that when you start to wiggle the tree loose, if you start to see the tree cracking up a ways if it starts cracking up a ways in the trunk and it's not cracking cleanly down at the base, then just get yourself a pair of needle nose pliers or some tweezers or something strong and move down to the base of the piece and wiggle it from there. Because you're trying to get it to break as cleanly as you can at the base as it comes out. You know, if it does, break a little bit, not to worry. Just get them out of there and it'll be good. Okay, so now we've got the three trees out and we've got the house of the future prepared. Let's move on to the final step of integrating it into the Triton space. Alright, as you can see, the house of the future comes with a yellow wire. And if you're going to connect the lights up, one thing to realize is that the easiest installation of the house of the future onto the Triton's gardens will have this wire running across the top of the piece, and you'll see it in a second. Now, to make the yellow wires a little less obvious as we're running them across the top of Triton's gardens, I've gotten some of this snazzy green tape, which will help disguise the cable and hide it as we run it across the top of the platform. You don't need to really wrap this with the tape. I did just to make it look better. I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. Alright, so now we've got the House of the Future with its now yellow wires covered in the green tape. And now we're going to install it into the platform, or into the Triton garden. Lots of different ways to run the wire. It's kind of up to you. What I did is I just took the wire and ran it into this tree and then out the back of the piece, because you're going to plug it in underneath. And now the tricky bit is to set the platform down right about like this. Now, what you're going to see when you have this positioned correctly is, I'll show you. Alright, so know you have the House of the Future correctly positioned on the base when the House of the Future's tree, so this is the little tree here, is attached to the House of the Future, and it's going to snuggle in between this tree and the grotto area. It's snuggle right in there. That's one way you know it's right. The other way you know it's right is because the base of the House of the Future will sit down on the walkway just like this. So you'll see that the big part will be snuggled around this walkway, and turn a little bit, and you'll see that the side part of the house is sitting around the walkway here. And that's how it's intended to sit in there. It's pretty nice, really. It fits in there really good. Bob and Travis, the team, did a good job with this, with the layout of this thing. So now just a couple last things to finish up. Alright, looking down on the back of the House of the Future, you see the wire running out there and some other empty space. Bob suggested a really good idea, which is to take some of those trees that we pulled out and just install them back here. Use those to kind of tidy up the look of it and make it just look a little more natural. And that completes the installation of the building on the base. And now I'll show you how to connect the wire, and that'll be about it. Okay, so let's complete the wiring process. Now we have the wire coming out the back of the piece that connects to the House of the Future. And we have the connector that we added to the lighting board. Put this in. And if you're just installing this in your Main Street platform, you're pretty much done. You just stick it back on the platform like this, run this wire through the gap in the back, and you're ready to go. Now, if you're going to install this back on the original base, this baby, then there's one last little bit you have to do, and that is when you set this into the piece, you'll of course connect the power wires. I just want to show you what you have to do to get the green wire to fit in the piece. There's a gap in the casting right here. If you push the wire just like that, right in the spot, it'll sit down, and everything's fine. And then you'll run the wire across the base, like that. And that's how it will be. You can tell the wire is going to go in right where the plug is for the AC adapter. When you look at the casting, you'll see why it goes in there, because there's an extra space for the wire to sit in. And then that's how it goes. And then you're good to go. Don't forget to plug in the two power connectors that I didn't do, as I just demonstrated where to put the wire. But that's where it goes. Well, there you have it. You have your House of the Future installed on your Triton garden, and hopefully that wasn't too bad. And you can always write me if you have questions at the email address you see on your screen. And better yet, you can post your question to the Yahoo group called OLSV. See that on your screen? That way people can see your questions and see my answers. Either way, we'll get back to you and help you with the process. Hope you enjoyed it, and keep collecting. Bye-bye.